And I heard, as it were, the voice of a great multitude, and as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Alleluia, for the Lord God omnipotent who reigneth. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. And he saith unto me, Right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true sayings of God.
You know, the hopeful elect, of which we believe we are according to faith, and the importance of being called the elect, which are also known as the church of the firstborn in the scriptures. Firstborn meaning the first spirits created. And it would make sense the Heavenly Father would take the first spirits created to be the rulers of the nation, the aristocrat, if you will. If you know the word aristocrat literally means best rule. The first spirits created are the best ones to rule. That's why Yahushua is the first of the first, and he's the best of the best to rule. You know, Yahushua will be ruling in the next kingdom, and right underneath him will be King David, you know.
But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double, everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I the Lord love judgment, I hate robbery for burnt offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, my soul shall be joyful in my God. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation, he hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
All right, you got to one.
All right. First and foremost, love you all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Bakakodash, and double to Pastor Edison GMS. Citation to your brother, push word of truth and sincere four corners. BGMS Mississippi Camp. I'm not the brothers have it.
Colin. So this week, you know, our brothers are, you know, going to a lesson. You know, are you ready? You know, for Nero. Okay. And this lesson was inspired, you know, by the beloved brother priest a lot. All right, and he found some info, you know, dealing with, you know, Nero, all right, and some current news, you know, dealing with Trump, you know, linking the two. Okay, because as we know, all right, we get straight to the scriptures, as it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9, and we'll get that in the NLT, you know, and expound on it. What you got, bro?
This book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. History merely repeats itself. It has always been done before.
Merely? Yep.
Merely? Okay, come throughout. This I'm going to start off Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. NLT. History merely repeats itself. It has always been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new.
Yep. So what we have to understand, is the concept of reincarnation. And the Lord, has a concept, okay, of reincarnation, okay, because He sends spirits back, to get rewards. All right. He sends spirits back on certain assignments. All right. And He sends spirits back to get punished, you know. So what we're seeing on the right and the left hand side, are spirits of old, back in their lot. Okay, just because you have the spirit of prophets is subjugated to the prophets. Okay, well the spirit of the wicked is subjugated to the wicked. So these same devils of old, they come back in these high positions, in these high offices in the earth. Okay, and as you have, the office of president. Okay, which is a high office. Even though there is a puppet's office to the compared to the elites, it's still an office with some type of authority. Okay, so what we're seeing, just as people are reincarnated, kingdoms are reincarnated, and it's all for the will of the Lord to play out. You know, because this empire that we in now is the revived, Greco-Roman Empire that's in the earth, and this is the empire that Yahweh Shai is coming to judge. Because last time he came to be a sacrifice, okay, in the Roman Empire. This time he coming to wage war with the Roman Empire. Okay, so everything has come back, all right, full circle. And this is what we're witnessing play out, in the earth. Okay, so let's get this in Isaiah 19:4. Or like you had something you wanted to speak
I come before that, bro. Before that, Salakia, could you give me Revelations
on? You
chapter
got
1,
what
verse
you got
7?
coming. Uh, you want that on the KJV?
Kind.
You got it, bro.
And this is Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, KJV. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail before Shalaki shall wail because of him, even so among.
Kind. Those clouds, those clouds are the chariots of the Lord, but it said even those that pierced him. And we know that Yahweh Shah will be returning at the last days when this era is going to close. So how would they be here to see him coming? They will be
Mm-hmm.
here through a process of reincarnation. You know, it said everybody's gonna wail because of him, because how he's coming. He's coming with a thousand of his host. You know, so it makes sense that those people that was living in Rome, ruling in Rome, serving in Rome will be here at this very same time.
Come on, bro.
Kind of, that's all I had.
Everything back full. Come on, you want the Isaiah 19?
Kind.
You got
This
Isaiah
is the book
19 and
Isaiah,
4.
this book Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord of hosts.
Kind. And was that not Nero in his time? Is that not Trump in our time? Look how he moving. You know, look how he moving. Each time this man gets in power, as the scripture says, as as are the as roughly paraphrasing, as are the king, so his officer, roughly paraphrasing. Each time this man gets into
Mm-hmm.
that seat of power, what his people or begin to or show them, show their horns, show who they really are. Each and every time, just look at the effect this man has had over the minds of the people during his seating, you know?
Come, bro. You ready for the article, bro?
Kind.
Yeah. So this is an article from CNN. Um. So it goes into killing the penny with just a start. Trump is rewriting the rules on America's coins. So this is a coin, this is a rough draft, of a coin. All right. And this coin you see, 1776, 2026, which is, 250 years, okay, of America being, a country. All right. Going back to his birth, in 1776, July 4th. Okay. So this July 4th going into next year, 2026, will be 250 years, and that's about the average, rule of an empire. Now, I'm not saying that, next year will be the year, Lord will, our brothers are, okay, but we know, okay, according to patterns, these empires, last roughly around 250 years. Now, um, let's go down into it. It says the next signs of the nation's political divide might be jingling in your pocket next year. The administration plans to issue a $1 coin with President Donald Trump's likeness on this next year, despite a century-old precedent of not honoring sitting or even living former presidents on coins. So this is something that's unusual, to have a coin of a president, that's actively in office, or, that's not in office but still living, you know. So just showing you, all right, that this guy Trump, okay, he loves, going outside the norm, because he loves that attention, which you're gonna see in that video dealing with Nero. All right, that was his personality, you know. So going into it says instead of quarters honoring the abolition of slavery, granting women the rights to vote and civil rights movement, the Treasury would instead issue historical quarters featuring white men from the 18th and 19th century who were already well represented on currency, all right, and in historical, all right, tributes, you know. So this shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, this Esau kingdom, this is so-called white man's kingdom. Of course, he's gonna put his all right, his decorated men, his men of honor of his kingdom on his currency, man. That was he's supposed to do. Okay, you think he gonna put, niggas still looking for that Harriet Tubman $20 bill? Okay, that shit ain't never coming. All right, nigga finna go digital, and that $20 bill ain't came yet. You know, so this devil, just like the brother was getting into, they always show who they are. Okay, and the so-called white man, okay, he's getting back in that spirit of Edomite pride to where he's not ashamed of his history. You know, he's not ashamed of how he dominates the earth. Okay, so that spirit of, I'm white and I'm proud, I'm an Edomite and I'm proud, is heavy in the earth. And Trump, he is a good front runner, a front man, a face, okay, of Edomite pride, which we know to be Nero. Okay, it says the new coins coming after the administration stops issuing new pennies early this year. All right, underscore Trump's drive to put his own stamp on the presidency far beyond the confines of the White House, whether it's by putting his own face and name on U.S. institution or by pulling back on diversity efforts to reframe the story. The U.S. Mint on Thursday released the final coin designs for historical quarters celebrating the country's 250th birthday next year. Rather than the fight against slavery or giving women the vote, the designs primarily honor a more homogeneous view of U.S. history. George Washington, for the Revolutionary War, Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence, James Madison in the Constitution, Abraham Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address, as well as the Pilgrims, okay, to celebrate the Mayflower Compact, man. And that's all right, a slap in the face, the Pilgrims, okay, was a slap in the face to God, okay, and all these devils, man. Okay, so of course this man gonna honor, like I say, his men of honor of his kingdom, and they're all, warlocks, witches, crooks, pedo, Satanists, okay? But this is what this kingdom is about, so what we're seeing is just everything come, to the forefront. All right. Did you want to read some more on it, or you
Nah,
want to
bro. That's
segue to okay. So we can just segue to Nero. If any brother had a point or a comment or a precept, just let me know. But so let's segue here, dealing with Nero. I think I pulled that picture. Yeah, here you go. So the screenshot. Okay. So it says, what question did you ask? Because I don't think the question pulled up.
I had asked, did Nero have coins issued out, of his own face, of his own likeness?
Okay, come. All right. So come for sure, bro. So just going into it, this is a response from the AI overview. It says, yes, Nero had many coins minted with his own head portrait on them, a standard practice for Roman emperors after showing him laureate wearing a laurel wreath or even bareheaded, sometimes linking himself to gods like Apollo to project power, uh, artistry, all right, and divine favor. These coins in gold, silver, and bronze circulated widely across the empire, featuring different portraits and reverse backs celebrating his titles, um, or or building projects. Which Trump is a real estate man. All right, it said like the Colossus. All right, so you want to keep going on there though?
Nah, that was it.
Okay. So then, any brother had precept, any points before we get to the video? Or you had
Yeah, I had a
anything
point.
about before we segue to the video? You got it, bro.
Kind like when they came to try to trip up Yahweh Shai, what they say, whose superscription is this? It wasn't talking about Nero, but it was talking about the other guy, you know. But all these,
Tiberius.
yeah, Tiberius, all these Edomite rulers did this thing. You should know that look, this man is coming in his lot, you know. He's coming in his lot. If you get what I'm trying to, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Everybody come back for their assignment. Whether it's on the left or the right, whether it's for punishment or reward. You know, spirits come back. Even these spirits that they get nuked in America. Guess what? Those spirits gonna get recycled back into. They're gonna be regenerated into captivity. See, reincarnation makes it where nobody escapes. Because you devils love to say, "Well, that wasn't us." What it was, y'all. Okay, y'all them niggas coming back. Okay, judgment, all the Lord has it perfect timing where everything come back full circle. You know. Uh, uh. So yeah, we're gonna play a little bit of this. Just kind of a quick. You know. Brief. Summary dealing with Nero. So we're gonna play some of this and then we'll get back to the precepts. When y'all brothers good, y'all you can go straight to the video.
I got some, bro.
Come. Okay, come, bro.
Movies, novels, and TV shows. But when it comes to the deeds of real life leaders, fiction is often no competition for fact. For example, during his reign as leader the Mongol hordes, it's been speculated that Genghis Khan killed as much as 11% of the world's population. Tamerlane the Great, also known as Timur, would actually build towers out of skulls. And Qin Shi Huang, on his way to becoming the first unified Chinese empire, destroyed every semblance of an education system by burning books and burying scholars alive. But what about the famous Roman Empire? Were there any bad ones? The answer is simply yes. And the one that first comes to mind is Nero, Emperor Nero, a leader who ancient writers and historians claim not only started the Great Fire that destroyed Rome in AD 64, but also fiddled as he watched his city burn to the ground. With this thought in mind, we're going to look at why Emperor Nero is the evil leader in human history. Or was he? Nero was born Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus on December 15, 37 AD. When he was only 2, his father Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus died of edema and left a huge chunk of his estate to his son. However, the inheritance was taken from him by the Emperor Caligula. Eventually, Nero took the name we all know and loved to hate when he reached the tender age of 13. It was at that time that he was adopted by his mother, Agrippina the Younger, and great-uncle the Emperor Claudius, who by that time had succeeded Caligula following his assassination by his guards. Nero's mother Agrippina was described as vicious, violent, and unforgiving. I guess in this case you could say like mother, like son. Agrippina even had her second husband killed. Eventually Nero would take the reins as emperor at the age of 17 after his great-uncle died unexpectedly. Some historical sources from the time claim that people saw Nero's mother feed her husband poisoned mushrooms, resulting in his sudden death. Despite our perception of Nero today as an evil and hated ruler, during the time of his reign he did in fact hold a strong amount of support from the Roman Empire. He was young, new, and loved music and the arts, traits the general public admired in their leader. Occasionally he was even claimed to be kind. The Roman Empire's historian Suetonius wrote, "He let slip no opportunity for acts of generosity and mercy, or even displaying his affability." After only 2 years of his reign, though, that affability seems to have disappeared, and Nero ordered that his mother be killed. A gradual falling out between the two had begun some time prior, eventually leading Nero to removing her face from Roman coins. By that time, she had lost the respect of Nero's advisors as well. There's multiple contradicting and often fantastical reasons for why Nero ordered his mother killed. But the most common and often agreed upon is that she herself was actually plotting to kill Nero. So Nero said, off with her head, so to speak. Nero actually ordered an accidental collision of her boat, hoping she may perish with the sinking ships. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, she survived the initial attempt. Finally, he ordered assassins to kill her and make it resemble a suicide. This time, she did not survive. Nero was relieved to find that he was actually congratulated on the death of his mother. Many high-ranking officials surrounding him, along with some of the general public, suspected his life was in danger from her plans to kill him and saw it as a fortuitous event. On June 9, 53 AD, Nero married Claudia Octavia. Their marriage was not a pleasant one. Octavia was described by the Roman senator and historian Tacitus as an aristocratic and virtuous wife, meaning she had moral standards and wanted to honor her husband. Nero, on the other hand, was quite different. He was immediately bored and angered by his new wife's mindset, as it deviated strongly from what he wanted out of a wife. On occasion, a rage-filled and frustrated Nero would even attempt to strangle Octavia. But perhaps the biggest issue for Nero was that Octavia was unable to bear a child for him. With no child, there would be no heir to his throne. Eventually, Nero began having affairs with different women, one being a freedwoman named Poppaea Sabina. After she became pregnant with Nero's child, Nero decided to divorce his wife for Poppaea. Together, Nero and Poppaea banished Octavia from Nero's empire. However, Nero did not expect the backlash that came from his people. Many Roman citizens very much liked Octavia and protested severely the banishment of her from the empire. They carried statues of her through the city, and the protests were so large that Nero briefly considered remarrying her to calm the people. Nero feared that the only reason the Romans saw him as their leader was his association with Octavia and her connection to past royal families. So after much deliberation, Nero did the next best thing to remarrying his estranged wife. He had her killed. He hoped that this would instill some fear and prove his strong leadership to the people. Octavia was put to death in a traditional Roman suicide ritual on June 8, 62 AD. Only 2 years later, Rome burned. The now infamous incident began on the evening of July 18, 64 AD. The fire ignited on the Aventine Hill, one of the 7 slopes that Rome was built on overlooking the Circus Maximus. The fire burned for nearly 6 days before it could be somewhat controlled, only to reignite once again and burn uncontrolled for another 3 days. Over a total of nearly 9 days, 2/3 of Rome had burned to the ground. Just about 70% of the city was completely destroyed. Homes, temples, markets, all burned to the ground. Nero at the time was not himself actually in Rome. He was at his villa in Antium, which was about 35 miles away from Rome, though he rushed back immediately upon hearing the news. Once back in Rome, Nero immediately opened his palace doors for the now homeless people of Rome and offered shelter and food. He was quick in his desire to begin rebuilding the city, and conveniently a new palace for himself, called the Domus Aurea, which in Latin means golden house. It was a massive palace complex that would eventually take up nearly 1/3 of Rome. The construction of the new palace is what led to many Roman citizens speculating that Nero had ordered the Great Fire of Rome himself, a devious plan that would allow him to clear the land to build the palace of his dreams, while also allowing him to spin his public image by being the charitable ruler who opened his doors to his people when they needed help. Although he got the palace he wanted, his image was irrevocably tarnished and the rumors spread quickly and escalated. It was at this time that Nero's decline truly began. The rebuilding costs of Rome were high and forced him to devalue the imperial currency by 10%. Revolts in the Roman provinces of Judea and Britain were also escalating. Nero suspected that there were high-level conspiracies originating in the Senate to have him assassinated, which he decided he could only prevent by having them killed first. With unrest growing in Rome, Nero took an extended 15-month trip to Greece. There, his passion for art grew and he gave himself to music, sports, and theatrical performances. When he finally did return back to Rome in 68 AD, he found even more unrest in the city. He had grown more distant from the residents and completely failed to respond to an urgent revolt in Gaul, as well as growing tensions in Africa and Spain. Finally, at their wits' end, the Senate made a bold move and announced that Nero was an enemy of the people. Soon, everything Nero had done as emperor seemed to finally come to a head, and his world began closing in on him. Many people believed it was him that started the Great Fire of Rome, and he had killed his mother, his first wife, and now new rumors popped up that he had killed his second wife too. Nero attempted to flee the city that by now had completely turned on him. Learning that his arrest and execution were imminent, Nero decided to fall back on his favorite move, killing. This time though, he took his own life on June 9th, 68 AD. He was 30 years old. Immediately following Nero's death, the Roman Empire went through one of its most tumultuous periods. It was pure and total chaos, with multiple emperors taking control and getting killed before they could even do anything. It became known as the Year of Four Emperors. Tacitus described it as a period rich in disasters, even in peace full of horrors. If someone kills their own mother, their first wife, possibly their second and pregnant wife, and maybe even burn down an entire city that they were ruling, you may look at them in a bad light too. It is true
Yeah, and that's pretty much the point, the gist of it. All right. And as you can see, Nero, his rulership was chaotic. That nigga was extremely, psychotic and violent. All right. He wasn't a military guy. He loved more of just, the entertainment aspect, the theater and the popularity that came with being, the emperor, but just like Trump, he said Nero had 2 years, to where, everybody loved him. Then after that, he shift gears, man, and just started going crazy, And it's a lot of history dealing with that guy. But the main thing that we see, is, he loved that pretend generosity. He loved the spotlight, and that nigga rulership was chaotic, So we see the same traits in Trump, and just like the brother said, Lord will, just as Trump, and this is a spirit that it said 2/3 are wrong, the number 2/3. But Lord will, like the brother said, hopefully, Trump, was the cause, all right, of, Rome burning again, except this time with nukes. Okay. Um, any brother has something, any brother has points, precepts.
I got something to back up there, Isaiah. If then the brother that had nothing.
Yeah, I got some too.
Come,
You can go first, Quan.
come. What you got, Tyler?
Hey, just give me second age 16 and 70 71, I think. Yeah. 'Cause you know we said about
Okay, come.
he blamed on the Christians. Um and
Mm-hmm.
and it, and I looked up some by Nero, his name, Emperor. No, I asked him did he had gladiators. He said he did, but he was a major patron of gladiator game, took it personal. You know, he loved it. And same Trump. Cause Trump just loved that UFC shit. 'Cause I think they gonna I don't know that they had a fight there
Mm-hmm.
or they gonna do a fight there. I don't
I
know,
don't
but
know. It wasn't surprising. Yeah, I know
yeah,
he was at the Army Navy game too.
that's what I'm saying. He loved the entertainment, like Nero.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Same people, bro.
You want to start at you said 71?
It started 70.
Yes, 70. Okay, come. You
Yeah.
got it, bro. It's second Ezra 16 7.
Con, this is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, verse 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai."
Go ahead.
Verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai.
And that's what it is. The one that fear Yahweh Shema Shah. And that's it. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna go after the people that believe in the Lord, man. It say like a madman. He gonna go Trump gonna use him. He might to go haywire on, go crazy, man. But and me just watching that little clip, that dude's a fucking psycho, man. Killed his mama, killed his wife. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's crazy. But that's how they eat that's how they eat my soul, man. And you got that wicked ruler, Trump. Trump got to be Nero, man. He got to be. Cause they moving the same way, man.
Mm-hmm.
You, people can't see that, something wrong with people if you can't see that. But like I said, that they gonna come out the Christians, man. That's what they can come down to, man. Cause they want their new world order. They want everybody to be on the one power, one religion. That's what they want. If you're gonna get down or lay down, that's it. But that's all I got, bros.
Come, bro. Real quick, um, just to go into some more dealing with this guy and his cruelty. And we talk about when we say, he persecuted Christians. These were Israelites in Rome that believed in Yahweh.
Hmm.
Not these Christians. These niggas going to Bible study. They were true followers, true Israelites. These Israelites by lineage. Okay, that believed in Yahweh during the time of the Roman Empire. So I just asked it real quick. Did Nero burn Christians alive at his banquets? It says he himself blamed the Christians because of their supposed hatred of mankind. Just like they trying to say that we're a hate group. You can look it up on Southern Poverty Center. They got Hebrew Israelites as a hate group. You know, so it says he had them thrown to dogs, nailed to crosses in his gardens, and burnt alive. The traditional punishment for arson. All right, so he had them burnt alive to serve as living torches in the night, and that's where you get that term Roman candle from. He would burn Israelites during his banquets, you know, to serve as light for his banquets. But that's what you had out now.
Con, can you go back to that? I think it was Isaiah 19 and 4, going back to the cruel Lord.
Come. You got it, bro.
Con, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 4. It says, "And the Egyptians I will give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, the Lord of hosts." Now, can we get that word cruel in the in the blue letter?
Come. All right, so the word in the Hebrew is koshah, and it says hard, cruel, severe, obstinate, hard, severe, fierce, intense, vehement, stubborn, rigorous, stiff necked.
Con, and who does that sound like? So, in the spirit, I was thinking about, it, and I just Google, I just went into Chat GPT, and I said, let me read the search here. I typed in, okay, I typed in, how does Trump resemble the cruel Lord as spoken about in Isaiah 19 and 4? And it says bluntly, people compare Trump to the cruel Lord in Isaiah 19 and 4 because the verse describes the ruler defined as hardness, fear, dom- dominant, not justice or wisdom. All right, and then it goes down. It gives Trump's characteristics. It says he leads out of can't say severity, all right, which goes into the factor of leading of a condition that by leading severely. He leads by fear, he leads by force, indifference to suffering. It says also going down into the last part here, it says, and this is where it gets down into it. It says, he governs through hardness, not comparison, meaning that he leads through mockery instead of mercy, punishment instead of reconciliation, strength defined as as dominion. It said he thrives on the fear and division, implies fear, i.e., immigrants, enemies, traitors, and collapse. He rules by turning groups against each other. He benefits politically from chaos and not calm. He does not restrain himself. Biblically, good kings restrain power. Cruel ones don't. Trump publicly threatens opponents. He encourages retaliation, shows no remorse or self-correction. He treats power as personal and not accountable. And this also says Isaiah's point is moral. It says when people reject justice, they get rulers who also reject justice. Thus saying Trump possibly fulfills the prophecy. And that was it. That was it on that one.
Yep.
Just
And if I can
to
add on,
go ahead.
yeah, if I can add real quick, because there's a guy that made a good point about Trump. The reason why, Americans rally behind Trump, because they seen themselves in Trump. Because what you describe is an average American asshole, man. Because you look at people who are just, the supervisors at goddamn Whole Food. They act like they the goddamn Grand Emperor. you know, Mother
Mm-hmm.
get a little power, and everybody has this narcissistic, self worship, self centered, self absorbed mindset in America. So Trump was really a reflection of the American society. That's why it was so easy to relate to him. From all walks of life, a lot of people could relate to Trump because he was a representation, okay, of the people. Because that's what America turns you into, man. This self-absorbed, narcissistic, you know, inconsiderate asshole, man. So Trump, you know, he was a mirror, to the American public. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Con.
but Lamar, y'all had some.
Yeah, I got one, bro.
And what you had, Lamont?
Psalms 94, verses 1 to 5.
Said Psalm 94.
Verses 1 down to verse 5.
You got it, bro.
Can you hear me, bro?
Now you still there?
Con, can you
Yeah, I
hear
can
me?
hear you now.
Okay, Con. This is the book of Psalms,
Yeah, I
chapter
can hear you
9.
now.
Con, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 94, and verse 1. It says, O Lord, Yahweh thy power, to whom vengeance belongeth. O power to whom vengeance belongeth, show thyself. Lift up,
Go down to verse 5. Keep reading verse 5, bro.
Con, verse 2. Lift up thyself, thou judgment, it's like that thou judge of the earth, render a reward to the proud. Lord Yahweh, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things, and all the workers of iniquity boast themselves? In verse 5. Can you scroll down a little bit, bro? Bob Kasha. Oh, okay, it was sloppy. Verse 5. They break into pieces thy people, O Lord Yahweh, and afflict thine heritage.
So, just like King David, man, we be sighing and crying too, man, for the Lord to come back. We'll send your house shot back to bring forth righteousness on the earth and take down this wicked nation, Esau, Edom. Because we, like brothers, I've been going into it. Look what's going on since this nigga Trump been in office, man. You got inflation. You got shrinkflation. Homeless has the people being homeless. That number done spike. Jobs being lost done spike. It's just a continually oppression on the people in America, man, aka Babylon. He's waged war on American citizens. He's blowing Venezuelan speedboats up, talk about their drug traffickers. He done seized and pretty much attacked and seized the oil tankers, man. He is doing nothing. Then he's sending millions and billions of dollars to other countries, man. Nothing that he is doing is benefiting what would be considered his kingdom since he's the president. Only thing he's doing is bringing more harsh and destructive rulership upon this country, man. And we celebrate it. We glad it's happening because the more this devil do, the sooner we can get up out of here. But we still highlighting the fact that this man is coming in the same spirit as Nero, man. He's completely unhinged, and he's a very proud individual, man. You see when they do this interview in the Oval Office, man, he be sitting up there, he ain't gonna come back like he's really truly a king, man. But with his rulership, with him being the rulership, it's not benefiting the American people, man. The only thing he's doing is continually increasing poverty, wickedness, and destruction, man, of the people, man. People are in a bad case now, and it's only gonna get worse, man. And this is second run, but he ain't even been in office a year yet, and he has done a catastrophic damaging to this nation, man. Babylon, financially, people, healthcare people can't get healthcare, and it's likened until him burning this place down. Now he's getting ready to do away, dismantle the government to bring forth a new government, this technocracy, which is gonna push forward and implement the RFID chip, man, the Quran. So we sign cry to the Lord to take this devil down, man, because the more we sign cry, the more this devil is gonna continue to go swiftly and come down that great wrath, man, because his time is short. He know it is, and they on the move, man. So 2026, man, it's just gonna be more prophecy exploding, man, and people are gonna start realizing that, hey, something is happening, man, and it's the Lord coming back to get ready to judge this place. That's all I got, bro.
Come, bro.
Hey,
Young
it's
Yah, you
like,
had
bro.
something?
It's like, and I know it's always another thing, and he dividing everybody too. He dividing everybody because
Mm-hmm.
you got this group hate this group now. I mean, they've been at each other, but it's worse. People can't stand each other, man. People just
Come.
don't like people no more, man. But it's a good thing because soon as this bitch go down, we get our kingdom. That's all I had, bro.
Mm-hmm. Come, bro. What you had, Young Yah?
Yeah, cuz I want to expound on the first precept you got, bro. You could Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 again, Baba Kasha. Because I got some in the
Come.
chat.
Mm. You want to get in the NLT like we did?
Cuz you can get it in NLT.
Come. This is Ecclesiastes 1 and 9 say history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new.
Yeah. So here it is. I got it in the chat. It goes into Nero as a pattern. It goes into his role as in Roman Empire. He was the emperor during Israelite persecution. You know, his characteristics was what? Brutal, arrogant, and self-exalting. So this is what you're seeing Trump this is what he's demonstrating as well. You know, it says associated with the beast systems, but it says he reigned during the destruction era leading up to the 70 AD. The point I want to get was he was it says modern rules equals recycled Roman authority. The same spirit, the same playbook. Self-exaltation, political theater, persecution of the truth, deception of the masses, worship of the power, the image, and the system. And going into that, the persecution of the truth, you see, he called the prophets what? The prophets of doom, and he throw around that T word, you know, real loosely, you know, and even going back into I think last year he was talking about the bringing those guillotines out, man, even bringing out the fire squad again, you know, which ultimately going to lead up into, you know, again the persecution, but I
Mm-hmm.
asked it the deception of the masses. So what I asked ChatGPT was, how did Nero? What was his deceptive methods? It says the first one it says the Roman emperor, basically from 54 to 68, he was notorious for using a mix of spectacle, propaganda, and manipulation to deceive and control the masses. The one was public spectacles and entertainment, going into the gladiatorial games and theater performances, the bread and circuses. You know, he provided free game and entertainment to distract citizens from political and economic problems. And then Trump is kind of doing this in the same way with throwing around them stimuluses. You know, it says by keeping the people entertained and reduce public scrutiny of his rule. It says number two, it says propaganda and image management, portraying himself as a godlike figure. Coins, statues, and inscriptions promoted Nero's image as a divinely favored ruler. He associated himself with Apollo, the god of music, and the sun to appear larger than life. So again, this is Trump. He basically coming back and doing the same thing. He's exalting himself, putting himself, making this image big. You know, it says control of information. He relied on historians and poets who praised him while censoring critics. He ensured the stories circulating about him, emphasizing generosity, talent. The point I got another point here. How even in the time of when Rome burned down, he blamed it on. He said at the time the Christians, but he blamed this on Israelites. You know, so everything is really going to be a finger pointing at Israelites, man. Like Israel, the problem. You know, so this is
Mm-hmm.
what Trump really. Everything is basically boiling down to where it's gonna, you know, again, this devil coming down with this wrath, man. In Revelation 12 and 12.
Come on, bro.
And
Then
another thing,
you had a precept. You want to get that ready?
You can
Go
get
ahead,
that.
bro. You make a point while I get it on Zaquan.
yeah, like, every time he do something, Trump would say this, I done this, I done that. 'Cause he said, I'm gonna stop this war. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But he do that all the time to big himself up. If you listen to that nigga, he say it all the time. I done this. I got them stop fighting. Me. And that Neo the same way. The same fucking way, bro. But that's all I got.
Come on, bro. You got
Hey,
not
and I can say
Revelation 12. Yeah.
I can just say real
Go ahead,
quick,
bro.
the video going to how Nero, one of the speculations that he, burned down, that particular area so he can build that massive castle he wanted to build or what have you. And then you look at Trump, what he's doing, this big project building this big ass so-called ballroom onto the White House,
The
man.
White House.
Just using money that, could be more beneficial to the society, man. But he's more focused on him being this figure of done built this particular ballroom site on the White House that's going to be so lavish that he would be noted for doing, you know.
Come on, bro. You got it on my nah. Revelation 12 and 12.
Come, bro. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12. It says, Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Yeah. So this is why. See, because the time is short, and this is why these damn devils, this guy, that prophets of doom title that he put on the prophets, man. Because what they know that the time is short. Rome is about to fall. Rome is about to be visited by our Lord, man. They finna meet Yahweh Shai. And here it is. You got the sign. What you got the sign of the prophets, letting them know that a kingdom is about to fall, man. So and this is their kingdom. Their time is short, man. So they doing everything they scrambling, doing everything they can to go ahead and trying to push this NWO, man. Wanted to fill in their belly.
Come on, bro. I got something for you since you said that this Isaiah 47 and 1. So read Isaiah 47 and 1, and the point gonna be in 3. So start at 1 and read to 3. Bible shot.
Come on, I got you, bro. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1, KJV. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the milestones and grind
The millstone.
millstones throughout it. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
God, so the point is, the Lord is coming to take vengeance upon Esau, this system, and he's not coming to meet them, to sit down with them and try to figure out things. How we gonna do this? How we gonna no? The Lord ain't doing it. He's not coming to bring, as the scriptures say, he's not coming to bring peace, but a sword, man. So the Lord is, he's coming to bring division, but ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is coming to bring judgment, man. And like the brother was going into how, you got people coming back and they light as well, being on that mission to receive judgment, or this is what these people are set up for, because scripture goes into how this man was made for the day of destruction. So this is his lot, man. This is his lot. So all ahead, man.
Bro. Well, a lot. You had something to close out with, bro?
Could you give me Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7?
Come, bro. All right, you got it, bro.
Come, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7, KJV. Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall not be saved of it, saved out of it.
But he shall be saved out of it.
Oh, to like it, bro. But he shall be saved out of it. Dua.
Speaking of the
Con,
elect.
Come.
con, and if y'all look into how bad it was for the believers of Yahweh Shem Al Shai in that time from under Nero, it was bad. But how much more so with the weaponry, with the technology they have under this Nero, you know, under this beast system,
Mm-hmm.
these draconian laws, you know, that's what's coming, you know. Y'all ready for Nero? you know, because no one is taking into account that this man is about to unleash his anger and hatred for you, the 12 tribe, but also the rest of you other nations. This man ain't got no pity for y'all. You know, he don't even look at his own, the lesser of his own people as his people. You know, it's about to get that grimy. Are y'all ready for this man?
Come on, bro. Yeah, so, I think the point being made, unless your brother has some else they wanted to add, but the point being made, all right, everything is full circle, and the Lord has this thing mapped out, for Yahweh Shai to come back, during the time of Rome revived. He was crucified in Rome, and he's coming back to wage war on Rome and them wicked niggas that was down with Rome, because them niggas back too. You sell out niggas, okay, or the Sanhedrin, Sadducees, and wicked Pharisees and scribe, all them niggas back, so everybody that was able, to put hands on him. That's why going back to that precept, he shall not meet thee as a man, okay? Because last time, he was allowed, to be touched, and handed over and crucified, okay? But this time, he's coming as an angelic force, okay, to conquer the earth in righteousness, man. And Nero ain't gonna have to pretend to set Rome on fire. Okay, I was shot gonna burn this bitch to the ground, literally. You see? So with that, we pray that you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS, rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.